हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। अभ्रमं भङ्गरहितम् अजडं विमलं सदा आनन्दतीर्थमतलं भजेताप्त्रयापहं मिथ्यासिद्धान्तदुद्ध्वान्त विध्वंसनविचक्षणः जयतीत्यागतनिर्भासतां नोहदम्बरे अत्तिकृत्वकल्पोऽयं प्रत्यत्तिकृतकेसरी व्यासतीर्थगुरुभूयादस्मदिष्टार्थसिद्धये तपोविद्याविरक्त्यादि सद्गुणोगाकरानं वादिराजगुरून् वन्दे हैग्रीपदाश्रयान् पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सिद्धर्मणताय च प्रसताङ्कल्पवृक्षाय नतां कामधेनवे दुर्वायुध्वान्तरवे वैष्णवेन्दीवरेन्दवे श्रीराघवेन्द्रगुरुवे नमो अत्यन्तयाळवे आपादमूलपर्यन्तं गुरूणामाप्तं स्मरे तेन विज्ञाः प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्धिं मनोरथाः। हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. We completed the second adhyaya, we entered the third adhyaya. There we started Arjuna asking the questions to Krishna that Krishna, you are saying in the second adhyaya, a couple of places where it is mentioned in the second adhyaya, durena hyavaram karma krupana phalahetavaha, like this, the karma and jnana is there, two approaches we can take in this. Like yeti sannyasis, they all adopt the path of knowledge. And for me also, there are two options. I can do this yuddha, this war and all this. This is one approach. But I can also take up like a sannyasi, take up that path and go in the path of the knowledge. I can do that. And you mentioned that this is better or superior. You said the jnana marga or the path of knowledge is superior to the path of action. You told that in second adhyaya. And also those who perform actions, they are doing with the help of, with the phala, the fruit in mind, they perform actions. So it becomes a unnecessary bondage also. It becomes a binding. So if I take up this path of sannyasi, yeti is going in the path of jnana, not fight this war and everything, it's better. That's what your words implied. But on one side you're saying fight the war, on another side you said the knowledge is better. So tell me, which is one confusion. Then another confusion is, okay, you perform this war, this but the action when you perform with fruits, giving up the desire for the fruits. But the war, we want to get the victory, right? So the fruits are in mind always. We are fighting to get the victory, we want to win the war. So there is scope for kamana, desire to win, desire to acquire victory, that is there. So that means instead of asking me to engage in action, then give up action when it is difficult to do that, why all these complexities? Simple. Give up this war, go take up the sannyasa or path of the mendicant or sannyasi. Go in that path, which is a knowledge path, which is superior. You should have told it, you should have told me that, but you said knowledge is superior and then fight the war. These are, and that too a war which is so dreadful, so bhayankara, so scary, and unnecessary torture for people. So many people get injured, hurt, and all that. So this bad, evil war, you're asking me to fight. And then also you're saying knowledge is superior. All confusion. Tell me clearly what I should do, how I should do, so all these questions are there. So when Arjuna asks these questions, Krishna answers this. He says, Arjuna, look, that in the third sloka he says, Lokesmin dividha nishta pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. He says, you are a karma yogi. How do I know I'm a karma yogi? I can be jnana. And what does it mean by karma yogi or jnana yogi? The words, what do they mean actually? So the karma yogi is one for whom the karma part is more and the jnana part is less. Karma yogi doesn't mean he performs only karma and he doesn't care about the jnana. No. And the jnana yogi also, it doesn't mean he is interested in jnana thing only and he doesn't care. Maybe he may do karma and all, but he doesn't care what happens with the karma. So each one will be concentrating only on one and give up that. That's what it is. If somebody thinks like that, no, that's not what it is. Acharya clarifies this. Whether you're karma yogi or jnana yogi, you'll be doing both but the percentage will be more, or amount, the ratio. So how do we know the ratio means? We don't know exactly, but we do our duties. In that path of the duty, it may so happen that we may have to do more of jnana and less of karma, even in our day-to-day life. A job, say there are some jobs where there's a lot of manual work is involved. There are some jobs where thinking work is involved, very little manual work. So the depends upon the job we take, right? Same way here also in philosophy, there are different responsibilities for different people. When they go in their path of responsibility, they may end up doing more action and less brain, or less action, more brain. But pure action, pure brain work nowhere exists, even in day to day life. Imagine, even a person who is like a big boss of the company, he may be doing a lot of thinking, but he does a lot of physical activity also. I mean, it may not be as much as other people who do a lot of physical activity. Or if you take a laborer who will be doing working in a factory or doing a lot of physical work, but he has to use a lot of brain work also, in the sense how to do the physical work. It should be safety is involved, the process is involved, how to do the action is involved. There is more of labor, but less of the brain work. Brain work is needed. The pure mechanical job, pure brain job doesn't exist in the world. Same way in philosophy also. Jnana marga, karma marga doesn't mean only one is used. Both are there for both. One thing, one clarification. Second clarification, okay, both are there for both. I'll take the jnana majority path. I'll be doing karma also, but I take jnana majority box. And this war and all battle, I'll just get away from that. But I'll do some karma, I'll do serve people or whatever. And then also I'll do the jnana part, lot of philosophizing and help people. I'll do all that. Why, this war and all that. So if that question is, Krishna says, no, there is two kinds of approaches in life, and this has been told by ancient people. And jnana yogis do the jnana yoga approach. Only if you are a jnana yogi, you have to go jnana yoga approach. If you are a karma yogi, you have to go karma yoga approach. Then the again question comes, how do I know? Arjuna question to Krishna, how do I know I'm a karma yogi? I'm not a jnana yogi. How do I know? So Krishna says, your path, you are a kshatriya, and you have taken up your responsibility to protect the people, to preserve the good. For that, if it comes to fighting the war, I mean, so many times you have fought so many times the war. I mean, different kinds of wars, some may be some battles, or some may be just, small ones. But in all those cases, you had to do something. So that was your need of the hour. Same way now, this is the need of the hour. So your duty is Kshatriya duty. You're a Kshatriya. So Kshatriya means Kshatat Trayate iti. So whoever are in distress, the person who protects them is called a Kshatriya. So he is the protector of the people who are in distress. And you have taken up that way of life. So you better fight the war, because a lot of people are dependent on you for their good life. If you don't fight the war, that means you're not contributing for the goodness of the society. So you are like a jnana yogi or karma yogi. If the question comes, you are a karma yogi only, not jnana yogi, because you have taken not only you. It gives actually Acharya in comment and all, it gives the explanation not in the Gita sloka, but examples he gives, Sanaka and Janaka. Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, these are like, the saints who will be, kind of roaming around, and they just think of the God all the time. They don't do a lot of physical activity. But even those Sanaka, so they have to move around, right? They have to travel. Even if they don't take food, when they move around, that's a karma, that's a job. I mean, there's a physical activity is there. So Sanaka Sanandanadi do a lot of brain work, but they have some amount of physical work also. They are jnana yogis. Majority jnana, some amount of karma is involved. If you take Janaka Maharaja, he's a great jnani actually. He's a very, very knowledgeable person, a great philosopher. In fact, a lot of people don't know Janaka comes in multiple places. And even Ramayana, Janaka is given a lot of importance. Punya Shlokocha Vaidehi. So there he is described as a person who is very knowledgeable person. Such Janaka and all are karma yogis, they are not jnana yogis, because though they have a lot of knowledge, jnana, the amount of, because he's a king, he has to take up people, the responsibilities, so many administrative tasks he has to do, so much of thing is there, physical things. So he is more of karma, even though he has an enormous amount of jnana, the karma is even more. Like these devatas also. Devatas in another way, the other side, in the sense, devatas, tattva, especially tattva devatas, they are present in each and every living being. They do so much of work, so much of karma they do, but their jnana is even higher compared to their karma. So devatas are considered as jnana yogis, even though they do a lot of karma, but still their jnana is more than their karma. You have to take only their jnana and their karma. Each person's jnana and each person's karma. Only that person. You cannot take jnana of one person and karma of another person to determine the yogitva. So that kind of devatas have high jnana, so they are called jnana yogis. Then Arjuna can, somebody can ask a question, hey, Arjuna is Indra Avatara. If Indra is a karma jnana yogi, Arjuna, his avatara, he should also be a jnana yogi. No, when you take up the avatara, that avatara karya, whatever, it determines, not the mula rupa. That means, as Indra, how he is, doesn't matter. As Arjuna, what he is, that's what matters. So, as Arjuna, he has taken up the responsibility of protecting people. So, you become Arjuna, better realize this. For you, the thing that doesn't apply, that, Durena, Hyavaram Karma, and all those things, actually, what being talked about there is, compared to Sakama Karma, jnana is better. So instead of doing sakama karma and getting into the bindings, the samsara bandhana, do jnana approach and get out of the samsara bandhana. That's what it is saying. But it doesn't mean that you give up all karma. No, it's not a universal giving up of the karma. So Arjuna, don't even think of refraining from war. You better take up this approach of karma marga, because that is what is your destiny. So you better take up that, go and fight the war. So don't say, okay, jnana is better, means not for you. And also it does not mean you give up the karma. You have to do the karma if that is your duty. So that's the positive instruction that Krishna emphasizes and tells Arjuna. And then people, can argue another way. The thought, and may not argue, but a thought may come, what is moksha? And everybody has the moksha in the mind, right? Moksha means all the bondages of the karma is removed, no more binding of karma, no karma bandhana, and you go to moksha. Hey, I have found somebody may say, I found a good technique. Moksha is called naishkarmya. That means nishkarma, where there is no need to perform. That does mean there is no karma. That's not what it means. It means naishkarmya is nishkarma. Moksha is called the liberation. Moksha is called naishkarmya because there karma is not used as a sadhana to perform, because there is no sadhana in moksha. Once moksha, somebody reaches moksha, that's it. No linga deha, no sadhana, nothing. So, naishkarmya, to obtain that state, if I don't do any karma, I don't have any bandhana, so I will go to moksha. Somebody can say, think like that. Hey, I'll just sit there. Don't do any karma the whole life. No karma is performed. Then my karma account, bandhana, will keep coming down. So I'll have less and less prarabdha karma, because I am just exhausting all the prarabdha karmas. I'm exhausting that. I am just sitting without action. So if that way, I'll finally get rid of all the bondages of action and I'll go to moksha. If somebody makes that claim, Krishna is saying, no, that's not possible. Because how it means, he says, na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushosnute na cha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhigachyati. Hey, wait a minute. Don't think that just refraining from action, no karma, I won't perform any karma, so my karma account keep coming down. No, not really. In fact, even if you think of not doing any karma, it's not possible. Actually, in future it comes. It's impossible to sit without any karma. You say, oh, I won't perform any karma, so my karma account keep coming, depleting. and then I'll eventually go to moksha. If somebody thinks like that, no, it's not possible for several reasons. One is you cannot even stay without doing any action. That's one thing. Second thing is just by giving up, okay, I perform action, I give the fruit of the action, like now do what you call phala samarpana. That is offering, hey God, you are making me do it. I am nobody, I am nothing, I am aswatantra. You are the swatantra. So this karma I am offering to you only. So I am offering all my karmas to you. So do my uddhara. If devotee says that, say, Gita Krishna na sanyasna deva siddhim. You won't obtain moksha just by giving up the karma. It's not possible. Why? Another reason is in one janma, right after 40, up to 14 years, whatever we do, we do not have responsibility for that normally. Most of the time, actually, as per Shastra, you won't have responsibility. Of course, there are other cases where it comes and Yama gives the punishment to one rishi and all that separate story. But one who is more than 14-year-old, before 14, karma bandha is not there, but once above 14, in the rest of the lifetime, the amount of karma a person does, even if he doesn't want to do any karma, he sits there, his mind will be running, he will be doing physical karma, you can refrain from. What about mental karma or oral karma? You may talk. That's a karma. Oh, I won't talk, I do mauna vrata also. I won't do any physical activity, I don't do any talking. So I'm not doing any karma. Somebody thinks, wait, your mind, what about your mind? Your mind is wandering all over, thinking about things. That's a manasika karma. So kaika karma, manasika karma, vachika karma. You may stop even kaika karma and vachika karma. Stopping also is not possible because you have to eat food. You have to do things like that. The activities are needed. So kaika karma you cannot completely refrain. Vachika and word, talking. That karma you have to converse with people. So that's also always happening. Kaika and Vachika. So Manasika karma is different from means you don't have control of your mind. It wanders all over. So you perform Manasika. So that in that way, everybody, I will refrain from action is not possible because every person does the physical action, mental action, and the oral action. All three types of actions are happening all the time for everybody, whoever is in samsara. So just by giving up karma, I'll obtain moksha means you cannot. You may think that you will give up karma completely. It's not possible because the Acharya explains actually the amount of karma a person normally does in one lifetime after he gets above 14 years old when he is responsible. The amount of karma that one does is enough to bind that person for at least 10 births, at least, maybe more. The amount of karma we do, it can go over for 10 births. So that means to exhaust the prarabdha coming out of one janma karma is enough at least for 10 janmas. And each of the 10 janma, each janma is again leads to another 10 janma amount of karma bandhana. Like that, for 10 janmas, it will become 100. That 100 will become 1,000. So that means it's like an exponential. We call exponential growth. The karma and karma bandhana grows exponentially more and more and more, and karma, everybody. Hey, wait a minute, that's very discouraging. So that means I keep on accumulating karmas. When will I get out of this whole samsara? When will it happen? Because I'm always accumulating karma each janma. So that means actually the approach for that, further down, how to burn the karmas, how to stop this eternal cycle, completely continuous cycle, how to stop it. All those will be explained in this. So just the second adhyaya in Bhagavad Gita is called Sankhya Yoga. The third adhyaya is called Karma Yoga. So this is a lot of thoughts about the karma are given here. So we'll cover all that. So here na karmanam anarambhat naishkam purusha, in that they say, hey, sannyasana, giving up the fruits, I got everything means no. You cannot do that because you still have a lot of bindings. You are tied here. So you have to do something else. What should I do? Oh, I won't do any action means, first of all, it doesn't help. Secondly, next sloka tells, न कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातुतिष्ठत्यकर्म कुत् कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः. Everybody, is impelled to perform the action. Why? Because avashaha, the word is very tricky word actually. There it says avashaha means vasha is like in control. Avashaha not in control, that means you have no control over that. Without any control, you'll be doing performing karma is one. Or without any control is one meaning for avashaha, under the control of, because it's more accurate definition is actually for avashaha. A is Narayana, A Vishnuriti Prokta, Paramatma. Vashaha, and because you're controlled by Paramatma, Paramatma knows that your Swabhava is to do the karma. He will make you do the karma, no matter what. So you don't have control. You are under the control of Paramatma, A Vashaha. And also, karma sarvaha prakriti jair gunaihi karyate. Your inherent nature. For imagine somebody says, "Oh, I won't do anything. I'll just sit without doing anything." After 5 minutes, I want to go and do that, because the person is naturally inclined to do the karma. Everybody is like that. They have certain amount of time they can refrain from karma, but the prakrutika, so that means the nature from out, two kinds of nature. Nature, when you talk about it, the nature inside is the swabhava. That's also called nature, and the atmosphere, the outside, that's also nature, prabhava. So the swabhava and prabhava both are different kinds of nature. One is internal nature, one is external nature. Both of them together make everybody engage in action, because the circumstance, the rain is falling, you are on the road, you run. That's your action. You have to do. You don't want to get wet, you run. So many things, the nature makes you do actions, and the inside you also, hey, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to. The mind makes you do this. So in both ways, by the prakriti janya gunas, qualities, everybody is engaged in performing some karma or the other. You say, oh, I want to perform anything, not possible. Paramatma controls you, makes you do karmas. Prakriti again, like I told, Prakriti inside, Prakriti outside is one way, and Prakriti, Chetana Prakriti, Lakshmi, Jada Prakriti is lifeless of Prakriti, the nature, lifeless nature, and Prakriti is one of the Shabdas used for Lakshmi. In fact, Prakriti is another place used for Paramatma also. He is Prakarshena Karoti Prakriti. So the word Prakriti can mean external conditions, or it can mean Prakriti is Sakshat Lakshmi, or Prakriti can also mean Paramatma. Here, we'll say, Jada Prakriti and Chetan Prakriti together, both of them in a combination, makes someone to perform action. Again, avashaha, under the control of Paramatma. This is unavoidable. So don't ever think that by refraining from action, I'll get moksha. It's not possible. Something else has to happen. What are all the things that will happen? You have to perform actions so that you have past account, right? Big, huge pile of karma is sitting on your account. You got to exhaust that. To exhaust that, what you have to do is you have to control your sense organs, you have to do effort, you have to do without any attachment to anything, nishkama. All that you do, slowly your karma account in the bank, whatever bank type of thing, your own bank. Each one has their own bank. So there the karma account keeps coming down, and at some point the person will kind of get rid of the karma bandhana and go to moksha. So this is what, so karma indriyani samyamya ya aste manasasmaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyachara. So somebody says, okay, you are saying sense or control sense organs. I won't do anything. I won't eat food. I won't smell bad. So I'll control all my five sense organs. Oh, now I'm great. I'm controlling all my sense organs. But then the mind wandering all over. Mind thinks of this, go there, go do this, do that. So mind is wandering all over. So in the mind, the person is thinking of maybe a beautiful meal, or a beautiful amount of food, or beautiful picture, or whatever something. So his mind is engaged in and going all over, wandering all over. So if somebody controls his sense organs, but the mind is wandering all over, then he cannot say, I am a great controller of sense organs. No, because the mind is included in control of sense organs. Mind is roaming around all over. That is no good. That's why he's called mithyachara. That means he's a pretender. He's pretending, oh, I don't have any bandhana. I am controlling, pretends like he's even a great person who can do samadhi, all that kind of thing. But it is actually he is mithyachara. That means a pretender, a cheat. So Vimudhatma, he is surrendered to moha. That means he is become a victim of moha because he indriyas, sense organs is controlling, but mind is wandering all over. So this is what it is. So I'll stop here. So any questions are there, you can feel free to ask. Hare Srinivasa.
Namaskara, Guruji. Guruji, here in this third chapter, karma, as we are learning, is meaning most likely the action, as in the physical action kind of karma. Does Bhagavad Gita also talk about karma in the other sense, as in the case of rebirth and that kind of karma also?
Yeah, see, karma basically it becomes binding or not binding based upon your thinking also. So birds karma, like the karma done by the animals, birds are all things, they do not know what why, like for example, lion hunts and kills an animal and eats. So it doesn't know the papa or punya. So without the knowledge of papa and punya, performing the actions, they have very little, maybe they have effect, but infinitesimal, it's very small effect on the person. That so that kind of karmas actually neither become that much bandhaka or moksha karaka, because the moksha karaka is out of question, ruled out, because as animal or bird, normally in like exceptions are there. For example, Jadabharata, when he's born as a deer, he still had the prior life thing, so it's in. So very rarely the animals or birds, the karmas that they do, they are counted either for karma bandhana or karma moksha. Very rarely. In most of the cases, they are not, because they don't know what is papa, what is punya. So they either it is binding nor it is bond removing. So both are not there for birds and animals. They have very infinitesimally small effect on the karmas, or whatever the fruits that they're getting. Very small. That's why uh, anadikala we are doing karmas, and we may not be doing in a physical body. So the amount of effect that we acquire through the mind is very negligibly small. So that negligibly small over infinite number of years becomes something that is a little bit significant. So that's why we get different kind of births and all that, and it continues the journey. So yes, the karma that is there in other birds and animals, they have very little effect on either bandhana or moksha of a person.
Does Gita explicitly talk about the karma bandhana in that sense, Guruji? In the sense,
Yeah, yes, it talks of, because karma bandha, why 14 years? Even before 14 years itself, here in this particular case, it says like, in one janma, whatever you do is comes for so many janmas. They're using other Shastra commentaries, Acharya Bhashya and Tatparya, we conclude, we come to the conclusion that after 14 years only is bandha. So even in human life, it's a kaimutya nyaya. Even when someone is born as a human, before 14 years, karma is not bandhaka. If
okay,
as a man for before 14 is not bandhaka, then automatically by logic it implies that as a born as an animal, because they don't know. See, when will it become a bandhana? When you know, oh, I want to this, I want to do that, ahankara is there, mamakara is there, all these are there, it becomes a bandhaka. But nothing is there, then it won't become a bandhaka. So it is indirectly it is mentioned. Directly it is not there, but indirectly the karma done by animals and birds is not binding, because like if under 14 years, if human is not bound by the karmas, then animals and birds are much less than a like a 10-year-old boy or a 6-year-old boy. Their knowledge is even less. So how can they have bandhana or moksha? So karmas won't bind or whatever for all those birds and animals. So indirectly it's mentioned.
okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Actually.
Last time, Namaskar, Shikeshwara.
Mm.
So
Namaste.
Yeah.
Arjuna is asking this question primarily because he believes that if he follows the Gyan Yoga marg, then he won't have to fight the war. But the Gyani, even the Gyani does a lot of work, like Pravachan, Tap, Swadhyay, Vihit Karm. Vihit Karm is also there for Gyani, and so is there for Yogi also. So what is the difference between the karma or preponderance of karma that the Gyani and the Yogi they have to do?
Oh,
Is
so
it?
the difference in karma between a jnani and a yogi, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, basically, jnani, so that actually a yogi can also be a jnani. It's not like two different categories, because what is jnana is one who has a knowledge about Paramatma. So he might have been a yogi also. So yogi and jnani are not mutually exclusive. Somebody who is a yogi can also be a jnani. So if we think of a yogi who is not a jnani, it's not even possible, because jnani means, how do you say? Somebody who has jnana. It doesn't mean somebody who has that infinite amount of jnana. Everybody has some amount of jnana. But in Shastras, we refer somebody as a jnani if he's a reasonably great amount of knowledge about Paramatma. He's called Paroksha Jnani, and then if he has obtained Aparoksha state, he's called Aparoksha Jnani. So you have Paroksha Jnani and Aparoksha Jnani. Yogis are basically, most of the yogis, I mean, whoever have gone on the path of Paramatma understanding, they are Jnanis also, because they have done the Yoga Abhyasa with the Paramatma's knowledge, so they became Jnana Yogis. That's why it's called, actually, Jnani and Yogi are not two exclusive words. We call Jnana Yogi. Jnana Yogi, Karma Yogi. So Jnana Yogi means Yogi who has Jnana. So Yogi and Jnana becomes kind of merged into one. So there is no Yogi without Jnana, and there is no Jnani without Yoga. They are mutually dependent. They are two different aspects of a person. Jnana is one aspect. Yoga is another aspect. But yoga is Jnana Upaya. So that means yogi and jnani are almost kind of overlap a lot. They are overlapping terms.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Arjuna is he thinks that if he takes the sannyas marg, he won't have to fight. That's the
Yeah, exactly. So Arjuna is saying, oh, you're saying jnana is superior, so that means I will take up that path, not fight. Because Arjuna's image in the first chapter, his intention is somehow escape. He says, Luptodaka Pindakriyaha, all that he says. If we take up the war, a lot of people die, so our ancestors will not have Pinda Budaka because a lot of men die, and all this kind of argument. So he is trying to make arguments not to fight.
okay. So he's the idea, the notion that if he does that, he won't have to fight is itself misplaced.
Yes, is misguiding and is wrong, and is something that is not acceptable. So that's whatever he is doing is not right. That's what Krishna is pointing out. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. Now in another line that the Vishnu Sahasranama will doing the meaning, Hare Srinivasa. So we'll continue on Wednesday. Yeah.
Namaskara, Keshav.
Yeah. प्रातः प्रभृति सायान्तं सायादि प्रातरं तथा यत्करोमि जगन्नाथ तदस्तु तव पूजनं प्रातः कालादिकं नित्यनैमित्तिकं तथा केशवाराधनार्थाय करिष्येऽहं तवाज्ञया हरे श्रीनिवास
Hare Srinivasa. Namaskara, Keshav.
नमस्कार
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಗುರು.
नमस्ते